Hello, my name is Jenna and I am the Single Subject Program Advisor. And today we're going to, really the point of the video I should say, is to review your study plan just to make sure that as a new student you understand the course requirements, the order that your courses should be completed, the exam expectations and due dates, and the master's specialization courses that are needed to complete your master's degree if you are pursuing your credential and master's. Okay, so you should have a study plan that is essentially identical to this one, just with your name, your ID number, and which single subject area you are pursuing. So I would like to say, just to confirm that everything is correct, and if not, definitely please let me know. And going down, you can see that the courses are listed by semester right here. And the program moves very, very quickly. And you can see you only have 1 year of coursework followed by your student teaching semester. So all of your courses are outlined here. And to the right, you have the fieldwork hours. And this is an approximate amount for the fieldwork. And fieldwork, you will be going into a classroom in a public school. And what you'll be doing will vary depending on the class. So you may be only observing a teacher teaching a lesson, or you could be, pulling out a student and meeting one-on-one. So it will vary, but your professor will give you a fieldwork packet for each class, letting you know exactly how many hours are needed and exactly what you'll be doing. So this is a great way to start networking and getting, just building those connections, getting familiar with the district that you would like to work in. So I definitely recommend, going out because you will be able to choose which school you complete your fieldwork at. And then the next column over here is just how many units. So not including student teaching, all of your classes will be 3 units. Okay, so moving down, you can see I have highlighted the exam requirements that are needed. So it is our expectation that you'll be passing 1 CSET per semester. And for the CSET exams, I know that right now it's a little bit hard to get those scheduled, but definitely keep trying. And ideally, you would have 1 passed before you start classes in January. And the reason for that, when you get to your 3rd semester, the EDU 519 right here, that class you have to have all of your CSETs passed before you will be able to enroll. And, all of your credential courses are needed before you can student teach. So having your CSETs completed will make sure that you are moving through the program swiftly and keeping, the projected timeline that is depicted here, that you will be able to keep that timeline. Okay. And there is the U.S. Constitution listed. I will touch on that in just a little bit, and once we get down to the checklist items. Okay. So the length for the single subject program will be 1 year of coursework, and then you will already be student teaching starting spring 2022. So really looking at it from this perspective, at this time next year, actually October 1st next year, you will already be preparing to go into the classroom for your student teaching semester. And again, student teaching is a full semester commitment. So for the spring semester, you will be you will be doing full-time student teaching. So you will follow the schedule of your mentor teacher. So that means that if they work from 7:30 to 4:30, that will also be your schedule. And that does include, hopefully we're in person at that time, but if they do happen to be virtual, then you would also be virtual, and vice versa. If they're in person, then you would be following their schedule in person. And for student teaching, that will be 14 units. And you'll see that there is a 1 unit for the EdTPA. And the EdTPA is essentially it's a giant portfolio. You will videotape yourself teaching, and you'll also be building lesson plans and units of lesson planning. So how one will build upon the other, and you'll need to justify the rationale behind what you are teaching and how you're checking for competency. And within the one unit, you will have support. So we offer an EdTPA workshop, and that will meet 3 or 4 times throughout the semester, and they will help you create your EdTP portfolio, and they will review it and let you know maybe what you need to clarify or something that is not included that should be there. So we definitely offer you support so that you're not going into the EdTPA blind. You'll be hearing about the EdTPA throughout your program, and then we also offer the workshop to help you build that before submitting. Okay. Moving down, the student teaching checklist, right here, and sorry, there we go. Looks like some of the wording is a little bit blurry. But for the student teaching checklist, all of your documents are due by October 1st of 2021. So for your CBEST, I know that due to COVID, we are allowing students to enter into the program without having the CBEST completed. So if you do not yet have your CBEST, that is needed to be passed by May 1st, 2021. So if you do not currently have your CBEST, I definitely recommend making that your first priority, because you will not be able to register for a summer semester if we do not have your passing CBEST on file. So again, the deadline for that is May 1st, but you won't be able to register for summer until we have that passing confirmation. For your CSET exams, again, the expectation is that you are passing one per semester. And it does, again, tie into this 519 class, because the prerequisite is having all of your CSET exams passed. So not only do you need them for student teaching, but you need them before you're able to enroll in 519. So we strongly encourage getting your CSETs passed as quickly as possible. And for your U.S. Constitution, you're able to either complete, so if you have something written in red, either an AP course or an undergraduate course from a community college or university, it means that you have met that requirement. And if it is blank, then we do still need the U.S. Constitution requirement met. And there are 2 ways to meet it. You can either take an undergraduate course, which we don't recommend just because it is time consuming. We recommend the challenge exam. And you are able to complete a challenge exam. They are offered by a couple different universities, but we recommend the challenge exam offered by Azusa Pacific. And I have included the information for the U.S. Constitution if you do not currently have it met in the email that I sent to you. So definitely feel free to review that. And if you're interested in taking that, then you just follow the website. Excuse me. You follow the website, and you have 2 weeks of access. It costs $100, and they give you all of the materials you need. Okay, and for CPR, I know some of you may already have that. It is valid for 2 years. So if you currently are CPR certified and it is valid through April of 2022, please go ahead and send it over to me. If it is not valid through April of 22, then you will need to renew it before you student teach. So, and you don't have to worry about that right now. You can definitely take care of that as we get a little bit closer to the October 1st deadline. For the TB clearance, I apologize, let me go back to CPR. It does need to cover adults, infants, and children. And we prefer in-person classes just because you get to practice on the dummy. But because of COVID, If you are not able to find an in-person class, you are able to take an online course, but it does have to be through either the American Heart Association or Red Cross. Okay, so for your TB clearance, it either has to be the shot or the chest x-ray. And both of those are valid for a 4-year period. So if you have a current TB test, again, that would be valid at least through April of 22, then go ahead and send that over. And if you don't have a current test, then, you know, kind of like the CPR, you don't have to get that right now. You can wait until we're, you know, maybe a month or so out from the October 1st deadline. And for the certificate of clearance, your COC, that is that it has a 5-year validity period. So most, if not all, of yours will be valid throughout the full program. And for whatever reason, if it is coming up to being expired, or maybe you take a break from the program, then we will let you know if you need to renew that. Okay. So after all of your credential courses are done, once you have all of your documents, maybe about a month or so before October 1st, I will send out the student teaching application. And once you receive the application and I have all of your documents, then you will be invited to a student teaching information session. And you will be in a session with all of the other student teachers that will be going into student teaching. And our clinical coordinator will go over what to expect during your student teaching semester. And you'll also have to fill out forms, and it'll kind of be just everything to get you ready. So you'll have all the information you need, all the documentation that we need, just to help get you ready and prepared. And during your student teaching semester, you'll have a weekly seminar that will be on campus, and CBU will provide you with a supervisor that will meet with you. So you will have a mentor teacher from the district as well as a CBU supervisor. And for student teaching, we do have to have, and I'll go over interning in just one moment, but for student teaching and interning, we do have to have a contract with the district before you're able to be placed at that school site. So these are the districts that we currently have a contract with. And if you have connections with a district not listed here, you can definitely reach out, and I can always check with our clinical coordinator to see if we have a current contract. And if not, it is unlikely that you would be able to student teach at that location, but always feel free to reach out, and I can see maybe if, well, really the school site would need to reach out to us. And if they're interested in initiating a contract, we can always see if we are able to, but it is based on CTC and CBU guidelines, so there's no guarantee. And some of the districts have an asterisk, and that just means that they are out of the area, and it's for their physical location from CBU. And there will be an out-of-area fee for any that have the asterisk, because again, your supervisor will drive out to meet with you, so it covers our extra gas and mileage. Okay. And for interning, there are 3 classes that you need to complete to be intern eligible, and you'll see right here they have required for intern eligibility. So for single subject, once you complete those 3 classes, and you would have to have all of the checklist items down here completed. So essentially, it's as if you were ready to student teach, you just have a couple more courses to finish. So if you are in that situation and you have been in a classroom before, either as maybe a long-term sub position or at a private school, then you definitely have the option to be an intern. And the reason I mention previous experience in the classroom is just because interning is not for everyone. When you are an intern, you are the teacher of record, and you no longer have that mentor teacher to kind of fall back on or learn from or get tips from. And that's definitely valuable, especially if you don't have too much experience in the classroom. So while interning is an option, we do not always recommend it. But if you do have everything complete and you're interested, you would let me know. And I would send you the intern eligibility application. Once your application is processed, we will send you an intern eligibility letter. With that letter, you would be able to apply for positions through EdJoin. And there's no guarantee that internships are available, just because with the nature of it, school districts have to look at the pool of credentialed teachers. And if they cannot find, the right candidate, then they can post for an intern. But if you, so really one of the differences between student teaching and interning, for student teaching, we help you, we place you. And for interning, you need to find your own placement or find your own position. And for interning, you are the teacher of record, whereas with student teaching, you have a mentor teacher. So there are just a couple differences. And interning does not replace student teaching. So the student teaching requirements are, the 15 units of tuition, the weekly seminar, and meeting kind of at CBU. So you do still have that requirement, and you will still be categorized as student teaching, but you will be getting paid for it. Is kind of the big difference and the big pro. Okay. So I'm just going to quickly go through these points down here. And while I do need a signature and date, I know that I also sent all of you information that I will be available for any questions and concerns. So you don't feel like you have to sign and date if you have more questions. So if you feel comfortable signing and dating after the video, definitely go ahead, but don't feel pressured to if you still have more questions. Okay, so the first couple bullet points are all about CSETs. They are very important in the program, and this is kind of the number one roadblock we see, that if students are not prioritizing their CSET exams, then they fall behind with them. So just understand that a passing CSET is required each semester. And this is definitely a benefit to you, because if you're passing one per semester, then by the time you get down to that 519, hopefully you will be all finished, or you could potentially have one left. So, but you definitely don't want to get all the way down to 519 and have, all 3 or 4. And again, single subject candidates are required to pass all CSET exams prior to registering for 519. This next point is about PE CSET exams. They do have limited availability and are not available in May, June, or July. So definitely make sure you're checking the dates and scheduling accordingly. Okay, so the next 2 bullet points have to do with the master's degree, and I will go over the different options we have for the master's. But if you are pursuing your master's, you can take classes alongside your credential coursework, although we recommend that you save your master's classes for after, just because with your exams and everything, we want to make sure that you are prioritizing the credential portion and getting your exams passed and the classes passed before you focus on your master's. But you do have the option to take master's classes. And the next bullet point is that if you do take master's classes, we recommend leaving at least 2 for after student teaching if you need to remain eligible for financial aid. So right now you're categorized as a graduate student if you're pursuing both your credential and your master's. And if you finish your master's degree, you will drop to an undergraduate status. So just keep that in mind, to save at least 2 master's classes for after student teaching if you need to use financial aid throughout your full program. Okay. The next one here is that registration is your responsibility. And you will get reminders from the registrar's office when registration is going to open, the date and the time. I'm always available for questions, and I will be assisting you with registration for your first semester. Okay, the maximum number of classes you can take will be 3, unless you have all of your exams passed. Then you can take 4 or more, although we do not always recommend that. Okay, and you do have to maintain a GPA of 3.0 as a graduate student. And all credential program requirements are subject to any CTC changes until your preliminary credential is issued. So really this would come into play if, let's say you decided, I don't know, something came up with your family, or maybe you wanted to focus on your exams, and you are out of the program for 2 semesters or more. And when you readmit, if the CTC or CBU has significantly changed the program, you would be held to the new standards and potentially would have to retake a class or take a new class if something has been added. So just kind of keep that in mind. If you're gone for 2 or more semesters, you are held to any new standards. Okay. So again, I will need your signature and date on this form, as well as your initials and date on the district agreement before I can clear you for registration. So if you have questions, you can definitely feel free to wait and send that after Tuesday. But just know I will need these before you can register for classes. And we do have our list for our internships as well. Right here, I didn't really touch on that. But for interning and student teaching, we do have to have a contract with the district before you are able to be placed at that site. Okay, so I'm going to switch gears a little bit and look at the masters. So for single subject, you have 3 options for your master's degree specialization. So for all of you, you will be receiving a master's of science in education, and then you get to choose your specialization. So we have teaching, international education, and TESOL. For all of our master's degrees, they do have the same 5 core. So the core requirements, the 15 units, no matter which specialization you choose, you have to take these 5 classes. So for teaching, your credential classes line up very nicely with the teaching specialization. So if you choose this option, you only have to complete the core requirements. If you choose international education, along with the core requirements, there are 2 other classes. So you would do a total of 7 classes for international education. For TESOL, this one is the longest. You would take 10 classes between the 2. But it's definitely a great option if you see yourself teaching English in a different country. And with this master's, you will receive the TESOL certification, which is needed if you want to be, hired as a TESOL, as a TESOL teacher. And so again, if you want to teach English outside of the country, that's a great option, and it would be 10 classes. So if you already know which specialization you would like, you can fill out the master's specialization sheet. And there's no rush with this. If you want to take some time to think about it, or maybe you even want to finish your credential before deciding on your master's, that's definitely fine. When you do decide which one you would like, you can just fill out this form, name, ID, which specialization you choose, and then a signature and date at the bottom. And you can send it to me, and I will get your account updated for you. Okay. And I did include other documents. Here's the helpful information sheet. And I also included frequently asked questions for both student teaching and interning. So feel free to read through all of that and just let me know if you have any questions. For the helpful information, it has more information about kind of the university, just Blackboard, Lancer Mail, Inside CBU, your student ID card. And for your student ID, it does say to see University Card Services, the office, in person. But I do believe that they are using, that you can contact their office and send them a picture, and then you can pick up your ID, or it may even be getting mailed to you. So you may receive an email with more direction for how to receive your student ID card. And if not, you're able to contact University Card Services. And you will need your student ID card before you're able to pick up your student permit, your student parking permit. But once you have your ID card, and I'll show you on Inside CBU where to go, but you're able to enter your vehicle information and then pick up your parking pass from Safety Services. Their office is over by student accounts if you enter from the new entrance. But you will need your ID before you're able to pick that up. And I want to point out with the university catalog, this is, you can think of it as your contract with CBU. Your catalog is valid for 5 years. And there is the grievance procedure located in the catalog. I just wanted to quickly touch on that if you do have any concerns with any professors in your classes, we always ask that you start with your professor first, just to give them the chance to resolve that with you and to give them that professional courtesy. If you feel like your professor is not able to resolve your concern, please come to me and I will get you connected either with our lead advisor or the associate dean, depending on what's going on, with your concern. We don't have this very often, but we always like to let you guys know that, please start with your professor and then you can come to me and I'll kind of direct you. And we do have our social media accounts listed here. And we post information and reminders about testing deadlines. And sometimes we'll have a district reach out to us and let us know that they're hiring for, I don't know, maybe a math teacher. And when we receive that information, we do post that on our social media accounts. Okay. So I just want to quickly go to Inside CBU and touch on a couple things here. Okay, so I'm just going to get logged in. Okay, so the first page I'm going to show you is Safety Services. So again, you can click in right here, Vehicle Permit Request. You'll enter your license plate and just some more information about your vehicle. And once you have your student ID card, you can go pick up your parking permit. And the cost is already included in your general fee, so there's no additional charge for that. Okay. And when you log in, you'll be on the home screen. So I just want to point out your course and fee statement. This document is provided by the Student Accounts Office, and it's a great way to see a snapshot of your semester. So your course and fee statement will list your schedule for that semester, your charges, and any financial aid that you're receiving. And at the very bottom, it will let you know if you have a balance due, or if it's in parentheses, a credit that you have on your account that will be refunded. Okay, the next tab I want to show you is the financial aid tab. So on this page, if you go over here to graduate, and right here under financial aid offer, you can select, it'll be 2021. No, I apologize. Yes, 2021. And this is where you'll go. So financial aid will send you an email when your financial aid has been awarded. Once you receive that email, you'll log into Inside CBU and come here. And this is where you will accept or decline your financial aid. Okay, so let me just touch on registration. Okay, so this is on the homepage of Inside CBU. You can come down and click on the Add Drop Courses. And Inside CBU is a little bit finicky. You definitely want to make sure you give it enough time to load. And you can see in the little bar, it's still loading up there. Okay, so for right now, it's saying add drop period is closed. And for the term, right now it's on fall 20. So we will choose the most simple. You will be looking for SP 2021. And spring and summer registration open together. So after you register for spring, you want to come back in here and click for summer 2021, just to make sure you're getting both semesters. And again, it's loading up here. And if you do not let it fully load and you click, I don't know, let's say I come down here and I choose something, then it will give you an error message and you'll have to start all over. So definitely be patient with Inside CBU. Okay, there we go. So now it's switched to the registration period is open, and you can select graduate. Okay, still loading. Okay. So to register, you will be referring back to your study plan. So for spring, you'll be taking EDU 509 and 514, and for summer, you'll be taking EDU 511 and 515 and ETC 507. So to search, you want to enter it into the course code begins with. And you can enter EDU, you can do a search for ETC, or you can just search for E, and that will bring up both EDU and ETC classes. And we'll just let it load. Okay. So now you can come over here and we are going to scroll down to EDU. So EDU 509, there are two sections. 509A, you can see right here, is with Dr. Walters on Thursday. The R is for Thursday at 7:05. And section B is also with Dr. Walters on Thursday at 4:30. And on your end, you'll have a box right over here that you can check. And once you check that box, and 514 is right down here, so you can check the box for 509, for 514, and right down here they have ENTET. And this is where you would find the ETC 507, although this class is for summer. But you would check the boxes, and at the bottom, it will say add. And once you add them, it will take you to another screen, and it will show you what you currently have registered for that semester. And if you ever just want to check your schedule just to confirm, you can go to the academics tab or the home tab, and you would click my course schedule. And this will show you which classes you have for, you can select spring 21, you can select summer 21, just to confirm that everything has been added. And if you have any questions with registration, or if Inside CBU is not working for you, definitely feel free to reach out. And I do just want to mention two quick things. The first is that once you finish your credential classes, you have all of your testing completed, and you complete, you pass your EdTPA, you successfully complete student teaching, CBU will recommend you for a preliminary credential. The preliminary credential is valid for 5 years. And within that 5-year period, you will need to clear your credential. And most of our students do that through their employer. So once you're employed with the district, they will sponsor you through an induction program. And induction takes about 2 years to complete. And then whoever you complete your induction program with, most students do it with an employer, but you can also complete an induction program through a university. So once you complete induction, then you will be recommended for a clear credential. So again, we will recommend you for your preliminary, and then within 5 years, you have to complete an induction program to clear your credential. And just kind of a quick side note that there are a lot of documents required to get you from the beginning of your program to recommending you for your credential. including your certificate of clearance, all of your exam passing confirmations, your TB, your CPR. So we just recommend that you are saving all of your own copies. That just to create a folder on your desktop, or if you want to have hard copies of everything, just make sure that you're not relying on our technology and that you are keeping all of those on file. So let's say you get to student teaching and you've already sent in your CPR certification. If I do not have it on file, or I mean, hopefully not worst case scenario, if our computer crashes or something and I need you to resend it, always, always, always keep your own copies just in case. And also when you are applying for positions, once you have your preliminary credential, some of the applications will require those documents. So definitely please make sure that you're saving a copy of everything. Okay, well that is all I have for you today. But again, I will be available and I will send out the WebEx link, but I will be available on Tuesday from 2 p.m. to 3:30 p.m. So if you have any questions or concerns, definitely feel free to stop in. And if you cannot make that time, then I'm happy to schedule another time with you. Okay, perfect. Thank you so much for listening, and I hope you have a great day.